Thank you so much.
Hey, peace, family. If you can hear my voice, I'm talking to you. I know we're out here today and we're having fun. We're loving it up. We are getting on moon bounces, listening to performances, getting buying stuff from people. But let's not forget what Juneteenth is about. There's some people that are conscious, that are aware, that won't come to a Juneteenth event because what they believe is that we as Black people are going to take this day and play with it. And so for us that's out here that's doing that, make sure that you remember what Juneteenth is about. This is a day to honor our ancestors. This is a day to honor our ancestors. Those ancestors that fought, bled, died, and endured slavery so that we can be here today. So if you are overjoyed, if you are over happy today, I'm challenging you to take a moment in your day and think about the price that was paid for you to be here today. If you are African, that's here in America, and your ancestors went through slavery, that means that somebody in your bloodline endured the Middle Passage. Somebody in your bloodline endured rape and endured abuse and fought against it, some of us. But they endured that so that we can be here today. And the reason why we commemorating and honoring them today, because sacrifices like that gotta be paid back, family. Sacrifices like that have to be paid back. And so us today, that we got our freedom and we smiling and we happy and we borrow from the vendors, us today, we have to pay our debt back to those ancestors that paid for us. Because we smiling and laughing here, but look at Baltimore City. Look at Black people, 350 Black people dying every year. Look at the abuse, look at the miseducation that happened in our schools. And so we can sit here, we can smile, and we can laugh, but that's not what Juneteenth is about. Juneteenth is about us putting in the work so that we can save our community. So if you came out here just to be silly and play, then you're making our ancestors and their sacrifice in vain. They paid so that we can be here today. But now it's kids that's not at this event, that's on them corners right now. And so if you are able Black man and woman, and you're not putting work in Baltimore City, if you're not putting work in Emerson Village, if you're not putting work in down the hill, but we laughing and joking on this day, yo, get yourself right. Get yourself right. And this is not out of hate, this is out of love. This is out of love because I love my community and I love us, and we have to do better so that in 200 years from now, our community is in a way better place. Our story can't end like this. Our story can't end with Black on Black crime. Our story can't end with our young men giving poison to each other. Our story can't end like this. But us Black men and women that are here, you gotta step up and play a part in your community. And if you don't, then 100 years from now, or 200 years from now, there won't be no day honoring you. Our future generations will curse you and curse your name because they know that the position that they're in, you did nothing about it. Thank you, family.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you heard the powerful words of one of the members of the Tendea family, Elijah Miles. So I'm welcoming them in today. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you joining us. Please introduce yourself, starting with Tassim.
Hi, my name is Tassim Muhammad. I am the program director in Tendea Family. I joined Tendea Family in the beginning, 2015, around the 30th grade rise. I went to Morgan State University, actually graduated with nutrition science, became vegan, and became a lot of things that was forged through Tendea Family, a community activist, a leader, a teacher, and all of this has shaped me to do more and be better in Baltimore City, in my community.
Awesome. Elijah?
Hey, peace family. My name is Elijah Miles, founder of Tendea Family. And yeah, Tendea Family started back in around 2015 by some black kids that were concerned with Baltimore City and concerned with the black community. Uh, so, yeah, I'm just a person among these great young people that cares about Baltimore City and is willing to put in the work, make the sacrifices needed to change Baltimore City. I also graduated from Morgan State, became vegan because of Tassine, our nutritional science major, changed my life. And yeah, been doing the work ever since.
Awesome. Ahini, do you want to go
Yeah,
next?
yeah, guys.
All right.
Um,
It's just you with
yeah,
the noise back there.
yeah, I'm hearing some buzzing, but it's working.
Okay. Okay.
My name, I go to 26. Came a part of Tendea in 2017, and like my comrades over here, went to Morgan State, and initially, I love the black environment.
Okay, we lost Nick. Can you go next? Yes, we got to make sure that our sound and everything is good. So Nick, can you continue with your introduction?
Yes, ma'am. Peace, family. My name is Nick Fallard, 22. I've been around Tendea Family since 2018. Unfortunately, unlike the rest of them, I didn't go to a HBCU, went to UMD College Park, but here serving the community.
Awesome. Well, we just got someone, Sophia Ramos, beautiful, powerful truth being spoken. Amen. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to start off by asking, are any of you vegan or plant-based? Because you understand, I co-own Land of Kush, Vegan Soul Bistro. I'm also the executive director of the Black Vegetarian Society. And we sponsored that Juneteenth cookout, the second annual, and we're proud sponsors of it. So, of course, our reason for sponsoring is because we want to disseminate the information about being plant-based and vegan. So, do any of you practice that? You know, what is your understanding of it?
Yeah, I'm vegan, and I think most of us are vegan. Actually, we've been vegan for years, but actually, we vended at Vegan Soul Fest the last 2 years that it was around before
Yes.
COVID. So we had a heck of a time. So I'm a proud vegan, and been vegan for Tassine would know better how many years, but probably like 3 or 4, something like that.
Awesome. So just wanted to get the understanding and make sure that I knew what your practice was. So what is the story and the motivation behind the Tendea family hustle, as you say? Who's the lead? Can you talk to me about what positions you each play in the organization and how it started?
Mm-hmm. You want to go, Elijah, or you want me to go after you?
No, I can go. So basically, Tendea Families, like I said, it began at Morgan State. Grew up. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. Grew up in the McElderly Park community, what we call down the hill. And I grew up just concerned with the Black community, concerned with the things that was going on in my neighborhood.
What was going on? What was going on?
The drugs, the violence, seeing police brutality firsthand. There was a lot of plainclothes cops where I grew up, and what we call knockers. That's kind of dismantled with all of the charges that happened with them being involved in the drug trade, particularly in that neighborhood too. And so just seeing all of that, the poverty, the devastation, and going to college and seeing another reality, it made me even more concerned with Baltimore City and what could happen. But as you know, when the Freddie Gray situation took place, and all CNN and MSNBC, all of these cameras came from around the country to Baltimore City. Us as Baltimore residents, we watched that unfold, but what we also saw is that after the cameras are gone, after the civil rights legends were gone, that neighborhood relatively stayed the same. And so for us, we felt and founded Tendea Family that it's some on the ground grassroots work, day in and day out work that has to be done in order to change Baltimore City. And so we were inspired by reading the history about Black Panther Party, the UNIA, all these organizations that came for us, we said we need something like that now. And it's going to take another level of commitment. And that's kind of how Tendea Family got its origin.
To sing, you want to talk about your role in the Tendea family?
Yes, similar to Elijah, I grew up looking for ways in which I can help my community. I'm the type of person that grew up in almost every single environment, whether it be the suburbs, the city, the country, the north, south. I went to so many different schools, all Black schools, all white schools, and just seeing the condition that we were in so many different environments, so many different states. Our identity was all over the place. How we looked at ourselves, how we viewed ourselves was all over the place. So when I joined Tendea Family, meeting Elijah, it put everything into perspective, and it made the work practical on what to do on a day-to-day basis and how to create changes on a small level that become grand. So we looked at, okay, we need schools, we need businesses, we need families, but how do we get people motivated to do that day to day and create the self-esteem and the identity that's necessary so that we can be able to pursue that confidently. So when I joined Tendea Family, it was a whole lot of relearning, unlearning that I had to do with myself, how I viewed myself, how I viewed the Black community, and what it was going to take for the community to change on a day-to-day level, the commitment that was needed, the sacrifice that was needed. And that's the main focus of Tendea, is getting people to change themselves so that they can be change agents in their own community. And if everybody is changing, if everybody is doing the work, then we can all change the communities, not just Baltimore City, but different cities in the U.S. overnight, over time, and it will be on a quicker level than just one person saying that I want to change the community, or two people saying that I want to change the community. If everybody sees themselves as a person that if I can do better, then the change would be, necessary. So there were so many things that we did: the community cleanup, the drawing boards, which we talked about Black history every Sunday and engage people and bring out solutions. But one of the things that I do in particular with Tendea Family is the Sisters Dinner. The Sisters Dinner is a space for Black women to come together and talk about what we need to do as Black women to be better in our community. We talk about all things under the sun, but it's mainly focused on womanhood, what we deal with day to day, and how we can be better as women for ourselves, for our family, and for our community. So some of the things that we touch on is definitely health, hygiene, birth, different things like that. We talk about food, we talk about nutrition, we talk about natural hair, we talk about beauty and the concept of beauty and how we as Black women have to feel beautiful in our natural state. All different types of topics that we do every single Sunday from 5 to about 7 or 8. And we also have a sisterhood in Tendea Family that we use as that we continuously build so that we can be connected, and not just in our relationships, intimate relationships, but knowing that there's women are in our community that has our back, and has our best interests at heart. Because there's so many things that we hear in our community that says, "Oh, I don't like her; she's catty or gossipy."
Right,
But
right.
in this sisterhood, it's like we don't do that. We don't engage in that, and we're really trying to produce real love, real commitment with women.
Okay, I want to ask you about that, to sing, because that's something that really bothers me in the community, this lack of the sisterhood and the cattiness. Do you have, I always got to say I'm Afro Latino because my perspective is dual. And with our sisters, sometimes I try to figure out, like, why is this even happening? Do you have a perspective on why the cattiness exists? Because I've never been like that. I didn't grow up like that, but I've seen it growing up. Why does that exist?
Yeah, I think it's because there's so many different ideologies and perspectives on how to go about dating, on how to go about beauty. And so because it's that tension and because it's that competition and insecurity, you're trying to figure out, how should I be and how can I, one up and secure this man or this guy or this job or whatever. And then it becomes like this thing where we can't do it together. It's only one of us. And we have to create an environment where all of us look good, all of us feel good, all of us can pursue and date in a healthy way without feeling like there's one guy in one room and I have to go at him. So it's like this mindset that we have, this scarcity mindset where I can't have, so, or we all can't have, So since we all can't have, we are going to fight to see who can have the best or have the guy that is right in front of us. And that doesn't have to be the case. A lot of us didn't grow up, you know, being taught how to go about dating, being taught how to actually be a friend. And because of that, we, have this backwards culture where we build bonds off of disliking somebody else or doing, or I don't do that. I'm just going to be friends with people who just do the same thing as I do. And that's not how it all have to be. We have to bond on the basis that we're sisters, we're Black, and we are in this together, and we all are going in the same direction.
Thank you for that.
And
Nick,
actually,
go ahead.
I
Go
also
ahead.
want to say Land of Kush have definitely sponsored a lot of sisters dinners, so I wanted to put that out there as well.
Oh, we appreciate you, and yeah, please, whatever you need, let us know. That's what we're here for. Nick, we're gonna move on to you with the introduction, and you're gonna unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. So, again, Nick Fallard. I'm the executive assistant to the chairman of Tendea. So, basically, helping Chairman Elijah with every day-to-day functions. As far as programs concerned, if anyone's been to my programs, our programs definitely serving as the moderator, helping get people accustomed to the event, welcome them to the event, let them know this is a safe space. To be proud to be Black, to be amongst your peers. Avoiding the cattiness, avoiding the ego, and having to one up one another, or feeling like your voice will be shunned. And it's definitely a place of love and things like that. So that's basically the role and capacity I serve in the organization.
Awesome. And understand, I have 2 cats. So, for all my animal rights people, I love cats, always adore cats. Just cats have a way about their attitude that, when they're in their space and they don't want to be bothered, they're going to let you know about it. Okay. Haney, let's introduce yourself now. And tell us about your function in the Tendea family group.
I'm back from the Matrix. I am
Sound great.
fitness coordinator of Tendea Family. So keeping the fellas fit, keeping us, warrior ready, just keeping us on the move, because you can't help or change the Black community if you're out of shape. And that's one of the other reasons why I turned vegan, about to be 4 years in July.
Awesome. And I'm glad you said that, because I had a little moment to talk at the event last Saturday too. And one of the things that I mentioned were Black Lives Matter, definitely. Black Love Matters, just as Tasim pointed out with the sisters and the brothers, because I know, Elijah, you're out there talking about, the brotherhood. And Black Health Matters, because if you don't have the health, you can't do any of this work that you're doing. No one can. So it's very important to be healthy. And the way you're going to be healthy is you got to eat a whole food, plant-based diet. Leave the animals alone. Am I coming in now? Can y'all see me? Because I see my camera keeps flashing in and off and on. I want to understand why is what you do so important in the city of Baltimore, particularly knowing we got the murder rate up, as Elijah pointed out in his speech. We have a lot of teenage pregnancies, as you see in a lot of major cities. Why is what you're doing so important? You got the cleanups, you got the food distributions. There's a number of things that you've been doing. Why is it that you, the youth, what you're doing is so important for the city of Baltimore, and what are some challenges you're facing with that?
One of the reasons what we do is so important is because what makes Tendea different, and this is what we recognize, that we wanted to focus on identity. So how people ask the question of who am I? Because what we recognize is that in Baltimore City, there's a lot of people that's growing up in single parent homes. And so they're not learning, they're not having an adequate parent to model for them what it means to be a Black man, what it means to be a Black woman. And so Hollywood, the music industry, the movies, the environment that's right out is defining all of those things. So we don't just figure out what it means to be a Black person by just knowing it. When we're born, figure it out by watching other Black people and watching them interact. So if you are seen as a robber, a killer, a drug dealer, how can you do these other things? So what we decided to do is focus on identity. Let's talk about what does it mean to be black? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? How can we switch these negative definitions we receive in society and push out these positive messages? Another important thing is the self-improvement. Us bettering ourselves and bettering ourselves and bettering ourselves mentally, physically, morally, health-wise, so that we can create our community. Tendea doesn't focus on what can the government do, what does the educational system could do better. We focus on what can we in our capacity as residents do better to change our community. So we focus on the self because you can always control the self. You can't control what other people will or won't do. But if we better ourselves, we can make a greater impact culturally on our community.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Anyone want to add to it? Want to share any of their perspectives on why it's important and then some of the challenges that you're facing as the Tendea family doing this community work, especially with the youth, getting the youth engaged.
Yeah, I would say just to piggyback off of Elijah that it's so important for the youth to see role models today. Like Elijah said, growing up in households where most of us are raised by single mothers, there's not a lot of direct teaching going on from the household. They're more so getting it from social media, friends, cousins, peers in their neighborhood. And most of that is coming from TV or what they heard or what they saw. So there's really no role models out here really modeling for them what it looks like to be a black man or a black woman in their community, working in their community successfully. And so that's what Tendea becomes to the youth, is a way to show that there's another way to be outside of what you're seeing as, the music industry or Hollywood or different things like that. It's promoting this flashy, glamorous, get rich, famous lifestyle, and something that we may not need right now in our community. We need doctors, we need, nutritionists, we need different things like that. But that's not always put to the forefront as glamorous, as, success, as something that I really want to pursue and do. So when you have an organization, especially like Tendea Family, that's young and vibrant and active in the community that they see consistently, they're able to resonate that with like, okay, I want to do this too. I see that as cool. I see that as something that I can connect with versus just what they see day to day that their friends may find popular.
Do you think some of that is by design?
Definitely. It's definitely by design because, when we are as productive as we need to be, our community will thrive and change. But when we are so focused on drugs, alcohol, just all the things that keep us in a very childish, immature state of mind, then we don't bring nothing done and we become consumers of everybody else's reality. We become consumers of the corner stores or the Gucci, Louis, Pradas, and getting everybody other communities rich and thriving, and we become weaker, and the money and the resources is slowly being taken out of the community. And that's why most of the cities around the world are in the condition that it is.
Thank you for that. Nick Ahini, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Do you want to chime in and add your perspective on that? Again, why is it important and what are some of the challenges?
Yes, I jump in. I definitely like to echo um, what was just said. I think one of the hardest things is that you're competing with something that has been glamorized by celebrities as well. And I think the hard part, but also the most beautiful part about being youth, is that sometimes the message that we're pushing forth about identity, being proud in your blackness, taking responsibility, sacrifice for the betterment of yourself and your community, oftentimes that's brought to you via persons 30 or 40 years older than you. I know growing up in schools, they would always bring in someone who didn't live in my community come speak to me about how I can be great and everything like that. But I think it's easier for young people to push them off. It's like, and that happened maybe 30, 40 years ago. But when it's someone in their 20s or just coming out of their teens and their early teens, it's like, oh, wait, I can resonate with this person. This person knows the things I listen to, knows the things that I watch, and yet they still are doing this work. So I think that's probably one of the most beautiful things about being a young Black-led organization is that the youth get to see I can do it too, and I can do it because these are also young people and not the same message coming from 30 or 40-year-olds where it's not as easy to resonate with them. So yeah, I would definitely, add that.
All right. Do you want to add anything?
Um, yeah, I would say that I think in the absence of the thing that we need in our community, something else comes, and it's not really healthy for our people's sake. Like yesterday, I'd seen a whole bunch of young youth, maybe like middle school, high schoolers, all boys, and they're just fighting in front of this fast food spot. And I'm like, I don't remember doing stuff like that when I was that young, but I felt like if they had something more productive to model after, that wouldn't exist. And that's some of the challenges we face in the day is creating this new program, this new initiative, brotherhood, sisterhood thing for them to feel part of something to give them more purpose than, going down to the harbor and hurting each other. Um, but I do think that initially the stuff that we do is important work, is divine work, and it takes people that's dedicated, willing to sacrifice. And I believe, people sacrifice before us. A lot of people, especially elders, sometimes you hear, just get up and leave, do for self. But the people that came before us, they sacrificed us. So what's stopping us now? And I think that that's what's needed. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Anyone else want to chime in before we
Yeah,
move on?
one of the last things I would say to this is the idea of success. That's also what one of the challenges is that youth, especially youth that grow up in poverty, they respect success. So the idea of success has been so warped and thrown around that Tendea Family has the challenge of also looking successful. And so without, because we don't promote designer brands and we don't promote materialism and all that, without all of those things, we still have to push uh, a degree of success. Because if not, then you feel like, well, you talking to us about this, but did it work for you and your lifestyle? Can you take care of your family and all of that? So they don't really want the poor righteous teacher today. They want the teacher to have some money and have a degree of success. And so we also, one of the challenges is how do you appear successful so that you can get there to youth, but also not subscribe to the thing that's not working for us in the first place.
Right, exactly. And you make a good point. And to Ahini's what he said about the fighting in front of the store, a lot of this is because of scarcity. Everyone's just fighting over the little bit that the next person has. And people outside of these type of communities, and I grew up in the South Bronx, the new housing project. So I understand this mentality. And things were going on back then. It's just a little bit elevated now in this time. It's scarcity. People are just fighting for things. This person has this and you don't have it. Why do they have it? And whatever's going on in that household with their parents. If they're progressive parents, educated, working, and your parents on public assistance, and you're in this situation, it creates that type of division within the community. And what Elijah, just said, it just, validates all of that. Do you think food and what we eat matters in terms of the way we think and how we come out into the world and produce and just go day to day? Is food important? Because it could be some of this food that we're exposed to and that we're eating. I mean, I hear that all the time. I think the food that you eat and consume and digest into your body matters. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the
You want
food definitely plays a major role in how we see ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we feel throughout the day, all of that, the energy we have. One of the reasons why I'm so happy I went vegan is because Black people coming to this land, we were given food. We wasn't given our own food. And now we have the power to take back our health, get some knowledge and understanding on what I should actually eat. I don't have to go to that corner store or do that because that's just all I knew. I have options now because of so many things that I'm able to eat now that I don't have to just be forced to eat now. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, especially with women. Eating right, when you feel good, you're able to put your best foot forward. You're able to communicate and show up in a better way, especially for women's health. There's so many different things that when you go vegan, when you give up the dairy, the cow milk, and the cheese, and all of that, your reproductive system is just completely different. The sickness that you used to have is almost completely eradicated when you become vegan, and how that shapes in your immune system. So I think that when you become vegan, when you're eating healthier, when you're drinking more water, even if you're not vegan, but drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables in general, you feel better. You're able to have more energy to do things more productively. It's like when people say, when you clean your room, you feel good. It's like when you clean your body, you feel good, and you're able to go about the day better. You know, people get headaches, people be feeling tired and exhausted. You're not able to get things done in the best way possible. But when you're eating right, you're feeling right. And especially with women with, body positivity going around and different things like that, people want to feel good in their body. And so when you're eating the right food, you're able to feel that way much more.
Exactly. And I feel you 100%. Anyone want to add to that in terms of the food that we eat and the decisions and behaviors?
The food that we eat is really important. What I love about Baltimore City is that most of the biggest prominent like vegan restaurants have been Black-owned restaurants. So
Right.
veganism today is becoming the new Black. And so and the way I look at it, it's like an act of rebellion. It's an act of revolt against the culture that was given to us, the health and food system that were given to us by coming in this country. And so some of us are taking this back and saying, nah, man, it's cool to be vegan. It's Black to be vegan. And I think that's a powerful thing that's going to do wonders for our community hundreds of years from now. Because every piece of our culture uh, should benefit us. Every piece of our culture should be good for us. And the culture, what we identify as Black food culture, hasn't been doing us good. Hasn't been doing us good. High obesity, high diabetes, and things like that. Some of us believe this stuff runs in our families, but with just a change in diet, we can really change things for generations to come.
Thank you for that. What I was gonna say about that. Let me get my thoughts together, because it's the compassion piece of it. That's what it is. So we can consume this food, but it's also the connection with the compassion piece when you understand what goes on in the animal agriculture. I just posted something or shared something on the Black Veg Society page about, the cows that escape the slaughterhouse, because they know they're going to meet death at some point. You know what I'm saying? This is a stress that they're dealing with, and then we have to consume it, and then we're dealing with this stress on top of all the other stressors. So that compassion piece, understanding when you are eating a certain way and you're not eating animals, that compassion shows. And I think in the community, we need to learn compassion from, don't kick a cat or burn a cat, and I'm not just saying the Black community. This goes on in a lot of communities where there isn't compassion. We understand how this country operates and how this country was built. It definitely wasn't built on a level of compassion, exterminate the brutes, it tells you that. So building that level of compassion and understanding, I think, helps in this community as well. How can we all move that forward? That compassionate action and that healthier eating. Like what do you think is the best practice for that?
If I may add, I would definitely say that education is really important. I think a lot of times when we're talking about healthy eating, that many in our community are discouraged because they're coming from low income families. And I was like, well, I bought a bunch of bananas last week and they went bad quickly. So within doing that is not only showing them, I believe there's a documentary called What is Health? What the Health?
Yes.
We're talking about that. But also showing here's how you can do it. If you're not going to go cold turkey, it's possible to do that, but it's might not be the long sustainable way for you to eat healthy. But to say, here's how you should store your produce. Here's how you should store your vegetables and fruit. Here's how you can make these meals stretch. Because a lot of times they're like, well, I don't know if that'll last long. I'll be wasting my money and doing that. So I'm going to go buy the TV dinner. I'm going to go buy this 6-pack of chicken because I know I can do something with that. But I think it's important to make sure our Black community receives it, is given the education and proper tools necessary so their produce doesn't go bad. So they know that they can hold this for a long time and it can be as long lasting as buying not as long lasting as a processed food, but it won't go to waste. I think that's an important part in making sure that the community eats healthy.
Yes, definitely an educational piece. I agree with you. Anybody else want to add? Okay, if you all weren't doing this work, because I'm sure before you got into this, everyone had their own individual aspirations. I know I did. I never dreamed about being a co-owner of a vegan restaurant. That wasn't on the top of the list of things for me to do. But if you weren't doing this work, what would each of you be doing? To sing. You're smiling, so you're thinking about it, huh?
You still on mute.
You're on mute, to sing.
I said that's a hard question. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this work. I was always interested in joining an organization, a grassroots organization. But if that somehow didn't happen, I would definitely be in health. I went to school for nutrition science, and
Okay.
I had plans of becoming a dietitian. Working in the hospital, I realized that there was so many things going on that wasn't right, particularly when it came to us. And so I had plans of opening my own practice, but since I'm in an organization, I plan to use all those skills and talents in the organization. And that's why we started the Fruit Creamery, which we vend at the Vegan Soul Fest, that we plan on opening up in a community, in a Black community, so they can have all those good, nutritious fruits and vegetable smoothies, in their neighborhood, and they don't have to go outside of their neighborhood to get that.
Thank you for that. And yes, when I saw you, and was it the Vegan Soul Fest where I saw you first? I know I've seen you all vending at so many different events, and the fact that you came out simple with smoothies, because that's where it starts. Just keep it simple, let go of the milkshakes, get some smoothies in your life.
Yes.
and it's real simple. It is easy. Like, who's going to turn down a smoothie? A nice, good strawberry pineapple smoothie, put some mango in it. So that was awesome. That was great. And, every time I see you and the team out there, my heart melts. Like, this is how you do it. Who else wants to go with their aspirations? Elijah?
Oh, for me, basically, I've always wanted to do something that helped the Black community. When I was really young, I wanted to be a lawyer because when I was growing up in the hood, the brothers always say, man, boy, Elijah, she gonna be something one day. Maybe he'll, get us out of jail or something. So I wanted to do something to help the community. But the more I learned about Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and Black history, I'm like, man, this is the way. Some people said I should run for office and things like that. But I was enamored at like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey, these people that had an impact on the community without ever going a political route. So I think I'm always going to be related to organizing because I think grassroots, on the ground, in the community, day in, day out, I think that's really the way you make sustainable impact on neighborhoods.
I agree 100%. Nick?
I would definitely say I would be involved in education or arts related to that. So like we talked about earlier, how the television and what we're ingesting, digesting via the TV and the tablets and the phones, being a part of the team that's putting forth meaningful things. So sometimes a lot of the youth and even us as adults, we don't realize what we're getting in, what we're consuming, what we're putting into our body through our eyes and through our ears. But being a part of the team that's saying, hey, I'm gonna give you something that you may not know this is good for you, but it will, come out in a way that's beneficial for you in the Black community. So that's where I would definitely be, and trying to use my skills and talents to bring that to Tendea as well.
Awesome. All right, Heaney, what do you got?
Yeah, I come from a strong health related background, so I definitely would have been like maybe a holistic doctor somewhere, the guy that owns a health shop in the hood.
Nice. I
Get
love
people
those
up, like,
holistic doctors.
get our herbalism on. Keep it nice and simple. Teach people stuff. Have courses. Give back. Community garden stuff like that. But now being in Tendea, I can incorporate all of that. And Lady Cap was being humble with the smoothies. We sold out 2 years in a row at each vegan soul fest. But yeah,
It's coming back, y'all. Not this
coming
year, but
back.
we coming back bigger and better next year. So don't worry about it. We ain't going nowhere. We gearing up. I want to shout out Jane Unchained News on the cross post. We can't see the comments. Sometimes I cross post incorrectly, but I want to shout out Tina. Tina has been giving us a lot of comments. She basically said we all need to go vegan. Thanks for tuning in, Tina. And she shouted out my heroes. She's always tuning in to Naijha Speaks. I appreciate her support. And then she also says, these poor animals want to live, not to be abused and murdered. Then stop buying dead animals, buy vegan, eat vegan, wear vegan. Thank you for that, Tina. Thanks for tuning in. And again, shout out to Jane Unchained, where I am a contributor. What upcoming projects do you all have going on as a collective and even individually?
So right now, for Tendea, we run 4 weekly community programs. One being the community cleanup every Sunday, 10 a.m. 11 a.m. We run later on Sundays. We run the drawing board, which is our Black History discussion forum, the solution forum, focused on how do we bring solutions to Baltimore City. We ourselves to be a part of those solutions. On Wednesday, led by our lady just support about Black women, she talked about earlier. And on Thursdays, we run man to man. So and being better and holding ourselves accountable and figuring out how to be positive contributors to the community. Outside of those things, we're striving to do a summer program for kids this summer to pay youth $50 to clean up, to come and help and learn from their family about how they can be the people that walk in our footsteps, be people that pick up the baton after they're done. We want to mold the next generation to do this, even though we're young. We want to start building those successes now.
Thank you for that. To sing, you just all part. Is this the same project, or do we need to add more? Are we good?
No, I think we're good. You mentioned all of them. Every year, the sisters at the Sisters Center do an annual natural hair photo shoot. So I just want to shout that out. Just to promote natural hair, promote natural beauty, because a lot of us are, ashamed of our hair. So we like to encourage
I'm not.
with that come. You're not, definitely.
Is this good for little young children too? And my daughter has 4C hair, so and we keep it natural. It's not braided all the time. It's not twist. We got the little the puff and all that. You puff the one puff, and it's like that's what I want, Mom. Right. Tendea Family, is this how we get connected with you? The website is tendeafamily.com. And what are your social media handles? I know you have a couple, right? What's your IGs and your Facebook?
Yep. So the biggest one is at Tendea Family, at TENDEA Family, all one word. You can
That's
find
on
out.
IG?
Yes, ma'am. You can find out and get updates about our work. And on Facebook, it's Tendea Family, just with a space. And all of the stuff related to Tendea Family, follow those 2 main pages and you'll be all right.
Awesome. So, we're running out of time. I just wanted to get a final message from either each of you or collectively to give to the viewers before we go. And thank you again for for coming on. I know you have a lot of work to do. It's a Sunday. So I appreciate your time. What's going to be your messages or your one final message to the viewer?
I can close this out. So one of the things I wanted to say, basically, everybody that's listening, everything that we do benefit ourselves, our families, our communities, and the world. So the way we eat, the way we move, the way we exercise, everything. So if you're out there and you're trying to better the world and you are vegan and you are proud of being vegan, that's absolutely great. But make sure that every day, every year, every month, that you're pushing yourself more and more and more to be an asset to the world and not a burden. And I think if we all adopt that mindset, then we'll be in a better place 100 years from now and 200 years from now. That's what today is striving to do. And I hope that's what everybody is also striving to do.
Yep, I always say to myself that it's not about making $1 million. It's about how am I going to help 1 million people, and that's what I'm striving to do. What can I do to help 1 million people besides giving a lot of money? Because I'm just I don't have it. But I appreciate you coming on. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, like, comment on naijaspeaks.com because we're bringing this type of content to you. Food, people, events, culture. And then definitely check out the Tendea family on the website at tendeafamily.com and follow them on IG. Do I have it right? At Tendea Family. And then in Facebook, Tendea Family. All right. So whatever you do today, please be safe, be compassionate, and definitely eat right. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. And y'all hang tight. All right. Don't go anywhere.
Mhm.